A lot of you don't understand that by doing it the government's way, the corporation's way, the controlled opposition, the political groups, the fake churches and all this, you're doing it the devil's way. You're submitting your children to mind control, being generations of servants of the people of this world, the old money, the people that print the money, the pharmaceutical companies, the big corporations, etc. You're subjecting your children and giving them over to people that serve money, thus the devil. Crony capitalism, what the heck you think it's about? And what's even worse is they don't have the opportunity to vie for power with the elite because they are hopelessly beneath them. Unless, of course, you're part of the elite, and then that's even worse. Okay, you serve the devil. So let's look at two scriptures in this, and we'll talk about the barren womb versus being married, right? It's one thing to not have kids. It's another thing to not be married to men of God. You're a woman, you're vulnerable. You need to find a man of God and team up with him. And to be screened out. But we'll see why that nobody chose that. Everyone chose the devil. In my generation, I stand alone. Let's go to Genesis. Jean's eyes, 6'4". I just happen to be 6'4". And my birth date, when added up, you get 1, which is the A, which is the hawk. Now, I'm not into numerology and all this nonsense, but I don't think this is a coincidence. Jean's is, Jean's eyes, Jean's A's, Genesis, 6'4". This is a very misunderstood scripture. Who were the offspring of the sons of God and the daughters of men? In what spirit did they reproduce? Why did they reproduce? And is beauty not mind, body, and soul? Did they say their flesh was attractive? Did they say their soul was beautiful? Did they say their mind was beautiful? Well, let's get to this, shall we? Genesis 6. When men began to increase in number on the earth and daughters were born to them, the sons of God saw that the daughters of men were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. What's the difference between all the attractive women, all the quote-unquote beautiful women, shunning me consistently? And Genesis 6:2, when they married any of them they chose. These are the sons of God. These are the Pharaoh is the son of God. This is before the Exodus. This is Genesis 6. This is before Moses and Abraham. These are the sons, the pharaohs of God, and soon we'll get to how the flood certainly didn't wipe out all life. We'll get to that. It must have been a certain group of people that were flooded in one manner or another, but not a water that covers the earth, as all you fake churches have been trying to tell us, and I disagreed for many years now. I actually took science aside on this issue and said, where's the evidence? How high must the waves have been? And the scientists had said something along the lines of waves must have been a mile high. I started thinking about it. I'm like, yeah, something like that probably would have been. And how much water must have poured out in the time period? No, it was not a literal event. So let's explore this, okay? They married any of them they chose. Then the Lord said, my spirit will not contend with man forever, for he is mortal. His days will be 120 years. So God is saying that you will not live forever in the flesh. Okay? You're mortal. His spirit will not contend with you forever. After a while, you will die and you will rejoin God. Okay? That's the only logical way to interpret once put into context. 4. The Nephilim were on the earth in those days and also afterwards, when the sons of God went to the daughters of men and had children by them. They were the heroes of old, men of renown. Now stop right there. Remember when Jesus said, no bad tree can bear good fruit. Well, how are these children heroes of old? They're heroes. They're only villains to villains. To evil people, they are villains. To jealous, sniveling cowards, they are abominations. How can anyone disagree with that? Genesis 6:4. These were heroes of old, men of renown. Now, what happens in 6:5? The Lord saw how great man's wickedness on earth had become, and that every inclination of the thoughts of his heart were only evil all the time. He said, we need to do something about this. People are acting like jealous, sniveling cowards. Bottom line, submit to Pharaoh, the sons of God. A play on word, S-U-N and S-O-N, not S-I-N, which is the sins of God. When you see a righteous man, a hero, a man of renown to those who can perceive him as truth, as such, you submit to them. Woman, you submit to Pharaoh, period. You don't submit to those who sold their soul for mind control and money and conformity. You submit to Pharaoh. When he chooses you, I don't want to hear anything. When you don't give him a chance to date you, you're gone. Think about it. For what? What is your reason? You chose evil. Your perspective is of this world. When you reject the Spirit of God, you're done. When you say no, God says no. And we have plenty of scriptures that prove why that is, right? We have the scripture of Isaac, okay, in Genesis, I believe it's Genesis 20. I have it written down somewhere. And we have the story, we have a story of Matthew, I believe. We have Matthew 10, okay, Genesis 22, Abraham and Isaac, in the Moriah area, right? Moriah, Moriah. Okay? Abraham, Obi-Raham. Isaac, Is-A-A-C. Okay, there's wordplay there. Okay, regardless if you think the wordplay is valid, think about what it's talking about, and you'll be forced to concede my point. Genesis 22, Matthew 10, and other scriptures prove definitively, including blessed are those, the childless wombs, not those who didn't marry, proves definitively that you should be concerned with the Spirit of God more than your own children. Okay? You should have the foresight not to bring children into the world if they cannot be in the true Spirit of God. There's no other way to look at it. I personally think the Bible, under mind control, distracted, and while people play stupid, has become a pretty useless tool. People refuse to concede the point. They're in denial, and they choose guilt over truth and the Spirit of God. They choose denial over conceding truth and guilt over the Spirit of God. Okay, now we'll get into how no servants can serve two. Matter of fact, let's get into that right now. I want you all to turn to Matthew. Matthew 6. I wrote it down somewhere. Okay, Matthew 6:24. No one can say, treasures in heaven, right? We'll start with 19. Do not store up for yourselves treasure on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But store up for yourselves treasure in heaven, where moth and rust do not destroy, where thieves do not break in and steal. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Remember, the heart is the seat of intelligence. You can't claim to be spiritual if you do not put that heart with God. The eye is the lamp of the body. If your eyes are good, your whole body will be full of light. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. Is he talking about whether you're blind? No, he's talking about your perspective, how you see things. Are you a worldly coward with no heart? Who's afraid to sacrifice for God? Did you not learn the message in Genesis 22 with Abraham and Isaac? Did you not learn the message of Matthew 10, 37 through 39? Anyone who loves their father or mother more than me is not worthy of me. Anyone who loves their son or daughter more than me is not worthy of me. Did you not learn? The Bible is probably the most common book in the world. Your kids don't need you here to have a fair chance to come into the Spirit of God. You have no excuse, none. Not to mention Matthew 19, 23 and 24, which also talks about the eye of the camel and the rich man having trouble getting to heaven. Okay, so anyway. But if your eyes are bad, your whole body will be full of darkness. If then the light within you is darkness, how great is that darkness? We're talking about the light versus the darkness. No one can serve, and of course, in the end of Revelation, we see Jesus says he is the bright morning star. He is the sun. No one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. You hear these people saying, why are they, the same people are cursed because they don't have money? How despicable is that? Did Jesus walk around with suitcases full of money? Did Peter turn to money to save him from persecution? Was he forsaken by God when he was martyred? Your own histories and Bible prove you wrong. Okay? You cannot serve both God and money. Matthew 6:24. No one can serve two masters. Can you be white and black, yin and yang? Can you be yellow and black? No. No one. Not me. Not you. Not Jesus. No one can serve two masters. When Satan was trying to get Jesus to serve him, did he say, well, okay, this is the message I want to send? Or did he say, no? No one can serve two masters. No one can serve, say it with me, no one can serve two masters. Either he will hate the one and love the other, or he will be devoted to the one and despise the other. You cannot serve both God and money. And going back to when you look at this thing again, I want you to remember these, that scripture, 6:24 and also 6:4. Okay? Excuse me, also 6:4, yes, Genesis 6:4. But Genesis 6:2, the sons of God saw the daughters of men were beautiful, and they married any of them they chose. And their children in 6:4 were the heroes of old, the men of renown. Now, why wouldn't you want a hero as a child? Why wouldn't you want a man of renown? And in a time where blessed are the people with childish wombs, why wouldn't you want to be married to the Son of God, his Pharaoh? And if Jesus is the only Son of God, why are they referred to as the sons of God? Plural. Jesus says, I'm the Son of God. And in Genesis, it's the sons of God, plural. Well, certainly there must be some pharaonic type figure. Certainly Narmer was a son of God. Israel, eyes, the eyes, right? The eyes of light versus darkness. Ra as El. The genes of the eyes, the genes of the Pharaoh. Genesis 41:45, I believe. Potipharah, the daughter of the priestess of On. Remember, God said, don't marry the Ammonites and all these other people, Molech and Baal worshipers. Don't marry these people. Why didn't he say to Joseph, don't marry the priestess, the daughter of the priest of On? Why did Joseph, Ra safe, keep Ra safe by advising Pharaoh if he wasn't right with Ra? To a certain extent. Now, he wasn't truly in the spirit like Narmer, or he wouldn't need Joseph in the first place. But he had sided more with Ra and submitted himself to Ra. The sons of God. The sons, plural. I am a Sa-Ra. I saw Ra. I am the eyes of Ra. I am a son of God. I am Haru, the archetype of Pharaoh, the warrior followers of Haru, the top martial artist. B of Ra versus Nigeria. Nigeria, no area, no area, no area, no man Igbo, no son of Ra versus Biafra, Ba of Ra. Don't you see? Even if you reject the wordplay, you know them by their works. I am a top martial artist, a hero of old, in a sense, a hero of now, certainly. It is a Ra reproduction war. And what Buddha was really getting at, and he would have to submit himself to my judgment. Your Buddhas would have to submit themselves to me. They were servants of righteousness at best. I am Pharaoh. Muhammad, questioning whether his vision was true, would have to submit himself to me. I am Pharaoh. I am the top martial artist. I am a son of God. For the same reason Jesus is above Muhammad, even in Islam, if you read between the lines, so am I. Thank you.